Good evening and welcome to Lower Frederick Township Board of Supervisors General Meeting for April 7th of 2026. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the Board of Supervisors had an executive session this evening prior to the meeting to discuss real estate. All the members of the board are present and accounted for. All of our staff is here, township manager, engineer, solicitor, and our police chief. Township meetings are recorded for the purpose of preparing the minutes, and the recording is destroyed after the minutes are approved. The meeting will be posted online on the township YouTube channel. The link can be found on the Board of Supervisors page on the township website. It is requested that all persons wishing to speak before the board shall state their name, address, and the subject matter upon which they wish to speak for the record. In the interest of facilitating the business of the board, all persons addressing the board shall be limited to 3 minutes unless such time is extended by the chair for good cause. Individuals are requested to remain in their seat and to respect when other persons are speaking. The Board of Supervisors will provide a reasonable opportunity for citizens to comment on all non-agenda items after all agenda items have been addressed, but prior to the adjournment of the public meeting. Okay, so first on our agenda this evening are the administrative actions for the meeting minutes for February 17th of 2026. Does anyone have any questions or amendments? Seeing none. The motion is to approve the meeting minutes for February 17th of 2026 work session. Can I get a motion?
Also move.
Supervisor Hexter makes the motion. Second?
I'll second it.
Supervisor Sachs makes the second. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Next is our treasurer's report. Jason?
Okay, so for activity through the end of March, the township audit was completed 3/31, and the DC annual 2025 report was filed by Cherry Bakart on April 1st. We received our insurance payment of $19,043.50 for the damaged township sign, building sign in March, and we made the final payment for the 2021 F-550 out of liquid fuels. General fund ended the month with a net income of negative $97,916, which is outperforming the budget by $18,474. For revenue, we're over budget by 0.1% or $5,860. Strongest performers were charges for service. Weakest performer was real estate, which is 27.4% or $35,000 under budget. That's a timing thing. We haven't received. I think we got our end of March payment today, actually. For expenses, we're under budget by 2% or $12,000. Key drivers that are over: engineering, police insurance, health, police OT, consultant building zoning, and contracted mowing. We're seeing savings in legal services, wages across the board, which that's another timing thing, and public works health insurance. Our year-to-date budget progress for the revenue is we've received 21.1% for annual revenue, and we've spent 20.9% of our annual expense. The general capital fund at a negative $16,907, which is $9,605 over budget. We've received $29,044 year-to-date, and we did write the check for the PD vehicle that we're getting a grant for, $46,461.60. Sewer fund. Hold on, that number can't be right. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. We have a net income of $132,092, which is $6,300 over budget. Revenue date is 2% or $5,191 over budget. Our sewer rent, sewer use charge is 1.5 or $3,900 under budget. Expenses were 0.8% or $1,176 under budget. We are on or under budget for most line items. The exception would be sewer engineering and the I&I sewer line televised. Year-to-date budget progress, we've received 25.3% of our revenue and spent 12% of the 2026 budget. Sewer capital, net income of $26,000, which is for 3 tap-in fees and interest, and there's been no expenses so far in 2026. Liquid fuels fund, net income of negative $30,637, which is under budget by $1,642. Revenue-wise, we received $13,261, which is our turn back and interest, and we spent $43,000 on road salt and our 2021 F550 truck payment. Year-to-date, we received 7.4% of the revenue, and 9% has been spent. Open space, net income of $30,822, exceeding budget by $6,009. We received revenue of $31,106, which is $4,200 over budget, and we've expended $287 in EIT commission. Available funds is $414,734. We've received 25.3% of our revenue and only spent 0.1%. Any questions on the treasurer's report?
Jason, I have a question. The 17.6% raise in general fund expense, how much of that is due to inflation? I know you can't completely disaggregate it, but is it fair to say that a lot of it is due to inflation?
It's hard to tell. For instance, like I could say for like our engineering fees, we've had a lot of activity in that line item in the beginning of the year, where budget-wise, I guess budget-wise, we wouldn't have normally maybe this much in the beginning of the year. Inflation, I don't think it's hitting us as much on the general fund size as it has with sewer. Utilities is kind of a, but I wouldn't say it's 17%. We're just spending differently. It's hard to compare year to year because we can be spending differently than we were last year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Jason? Okay. Not seeing any. We have our payment of bills for February 28th to March 30th of 2026. From the general fund is $98,294.54. The sewer fund is $48,991.49. General capital fund is $45,862, and liquid fuels fund $29,463.25 for a total of $222,531.28. Is there a motion to pay the bills?
Sorry, I think the sewer fund is $48,911.
Oh, did I say 999? I apologize. Let me amend that. The sewer fund is $48,911.49. And again, the total is $222,531.28. Can I get a motion to pay the bills? I will make that motion. Mine's
I will
not.
second.
Supervisor Hexter makes the second. Yes.
Better. I think this was in the job description.
I know.
Okay. So Supervisor Halter made the motion, Supervisor Hexter made the second. All of those in favor to pay the bills, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Next up is our professional staff reports, and we'll begin with our engineers report. Carol?
Thank you. Before I go into the engineers report, if it pleases the board, I'd just like to take a minute to make an acknowledgement. We lost a dear member of the township today. Lorraine Cuddy has passed. And Lorraine Cuddy was the former township manager here in Lower Frederick. She served as township manager for more than 3 decades. She was here when I first arrived to work with the township. I learned a lot from her. She was a good friend and a good person. I believe when she started serving this township, she did it from a kitchen table because there was no township building. And then she worked with Fern Maiello in a garage off of Hendricks Road as the township building for many years until this building was built. And she served the township through the construction of this building. So she put a lot into this township. And Cuddy Park, which appears on the agenda later tonight, was named after Lorraine. And it was an honor to be her friend and to be able to say, we'll miss you, Lorraine, and thank you for all you did.
Okay, thank you, Carol. Condolences to Lorraine's family as well.
Sorry, and if I can add, she also served as, I guess, treasurer for a while until, then when she left, Bonnie took that job. So she stayed on.
Yes. Many decades of service. Okay, on the engineer's report tonight, the informational items at Melbourne Hill, work has started on installation of the improvements associated with the cul-de-sac known as Noah Way. At Creekside Way, field survey data was gathered in late March and drafting of the base plan is in the queue. Base repairs and chip seal pavement preservation. I wanted to let you know that pavement repairs for roads to be sealed are tentatively scheduled for April 17th, and the chip seal work is tentatively scheduled for the week of May 11th. These dates are subject to change. Fortunately, the township does a super job of keeping this information current on the website, so go ahead and check there if you want any updates. Meng Road Special Study, once we have all the comments from the Township and County Planning Commissions and the County Health Department, they will be addressed within the study and incorporated and presented to this board, so that'll be on a future agenda. The artisan plans or Landis tract, revised plan sheets were recently submitted and will be reviewed in coming days. Artisan and their engineers have been working with us to refine the improvements to Centennial Street and to meet with all the impacted property owners. A description and exhibit prepared to clarify rights-of-way for the corner at Smith and Centennial has been accepted. That's been forwarded to the solicitor. So Solicitor Nelson can prepare an agreement between the township and the property. 219 Fulmer Road, a conditional use application was submitted and reviewed for disturbance of steep slopes, so that applicant is awaiting the board's decision. Leckmore at 1467 Gravel Pike, the owners have provided additional plantings to respond to concerns that were raised by staff, and we look forward to completion of the necessary work detailed on the approved plan. At Farmview Estates, home construction continues. A tot lot and playground installation was underway this month. We recently reviewed a plan for the walking trail that included the stepping stones across the Scioto Creek. I discussed the plan with the designer, and following some minor revisions per our conversation, Van Cleef Engineering plans to schedule pre-application meetings with the Conservation District and DEP. Also on my list is 115 Second Avenue. That's the subdivision of an existing undeveloped parcel along the undedicated portion of Second Avenue. It's a two-lot subdivision. They provided an extension to May 30th for consideration of their plans, so the applicant needs to resolve zoning issues before they can move forward on that plan. And lastly is a two-lot subdivision of 104 Delphi Road. This is a 33-acre property where they propose one new home. The application was discussed at the March Planning Commission meeting, and the applicant is now working to address review comments. Everything else on my list is individual grading permits, so I'll pause there, and I'm happy to address any questions that the board may have.
Carol, with respect to the Farmview Estates, would it be possible for the board to get a look at the trail system as it's being proposed? Yeah, just so it lines up with where we thought it was supposed to be when the plans were initially approved.
Sure. I can make sure I pass through the manager the latest plan that I saw. The stepping stones, we talked about some adjustments to spacing and size, so they're still going to change it a little bit. The the plan was to take pre-application meetings with the Conservation District and DEP, and then bring the plan to this board for affirmation, because the application will actually go forward in the township's name for these permits. So you are going to get a full and complete plan before the applications are filed, but if you'd like, I can pass through the plan that I last reviewed so you can get a look at it.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you,
Okay,
Carol.
will do.
Mine isn't necessarily maybe for you, or maybe yes. The Meng Road study. I watched the Planning Commission's comments on that, and Rainier Kuhn had a really good comment letter that he had put together and spoke really well to it.
Yes.
Is that something that you can forward to the board so that we can get a look at it? Okay, thank you.
And Carol, I know it's probably not a concern at this point. The Delphi Road subdivision of Lot 104. At some point in time, I guess we'll understand it's a highly wooded lot with a significant canopy. So I assume at some point when they get to the point where they're talking about actually constructing the additional house on that land, we'll get a chance to understand the impact that will have, and they'll do the normal study for the trees and so forth.
Yeah, so they're going to need to identify trees, especially in the area of proposed disturbance, and that's one of the comments on their plan. So they had a fairly lengthy subdivision review letter. They were working on those comments. They'll bring it back to the Planning Commission for recommendation, but ultimately it's your decision whether or not to approve those plans and to review those plans. So that will be coming before this board, hopefully as a little further developed plan.
Thank you very much.
Okay, are there any other questions for Carol? Okay, not seeing any. Our next report is from our solicitor.
I have nothing.
Okay. Next up, our township staff reports, and we can start with Chief Guest and the police.
All right, thank you. For March 2026, we had 404 calls for service. 75 traffic stops were conducted, with 50 citations being issued for various motor vehicle code violations. The police department, administration, public works, we all were trained for the Ready Monco system. This system and capabilities is going to be presented next month. It's going to be a great benefit to the township and the residents. March 11th, Immigration and Customs were present in the township. Make it clear the police department was not involved in anything. I don't even know what they were doing. I received several questions about what was going on. In addition, we did post the statement on the township Facebook. So if anyone still has some questions, I would refer you to that statement. Clearly defines what we're going to do regarding the immigration stuff with the federal government. Police department works in conjunction with Perkins Valley School District and the bus patrol program. Since January 1st, we've issued 39 school bus active red light violations. So it's a program that has been worthwhile and has prevented any kind of problems with kids on the buses possibly getting hit. We're working a joint investigation with Pennsylvania State Police and the United States Secret Service. Once at the conclusion of this investigation, I'll be able to provide some specific details about what is occurring. The board has some speed data for 2 township roadways. With the paperwork that you're provided, it's showed that these signs are very effective in slowing motorists down in that area. And last but not least, just would like to remind everyone and the residents that social media, anything that is discussed is most likely incorrect. We do not monitor the social media, any platform. If you have any concern, please reach out to the police department. Your concerns will be kept confidential, and that's everything I have. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Thank you very much. What's the cost of a ticket for running a red, the reds on a school bus?
So with this program, it's civil. It's the civil citations. I believe it's the fine itself, like $500 plus some costs. I know with the number of violations, there's several $1,000s worth of fines that are floating out there.
And I don't know if you know any specific data? And you said there were 39,
39 since the beginning of the year.
and of those 39, I know that the school district makes every effort to do school, like door-side pickups, as opposed to having the kids have to cross across the street. Do you know how many of those what were door-side and what were crossover?
So for the 39, about 37 of them are the ones that I reviewed.
Okay,
They were all door side.
door-side,
pickups.
okay.
So that's a good
But
thing.
still.
Problem is though, and as many know, kids don't always keep going. Like sometimes they like to cut in front of the bus. But
Yep.
for all the violations that occurred, the stops were door side, thank God,
Okay, but that's $500
per citation.
per citation.
Plus, it's just the fine, and
Yep.
then there's associated costs.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yep.
Right. Next up is the fire company report. Jason, can I assume, we have someone tonight with us, thank you.
Charles Jack, Fire Chief, Lower Frederick Fire Company. Month of March, we ran 29 calls. For the year, we were at 62. Incidents, we operated for 13 company hours. Training was 9 company hours. Events was 8 company hours, and administrative was 46. We did accept our hose. We had a grant that we had gotten. It's about $75,000. We got the hose in. It was the brand Snap Tight, and it was all packed, I think, 2 weekends ago. The engine and ladder got all new hose, so that was a benefit to us. Month of March, we also responded to 2 working fires in Lower Frederick, one being out on Gravel Pike. That was a house, mainly to the back porch, minor extension. We had 2 people go to the hospital just for an evaluation, and that's being investigated by FM 73. The second was in the area of Babington Road. That was a Woods Field fire. Crews worked to contain the fire. We did have extensive overhaul. Again, FM 73 is investigating that. We did have DCNR there. They filed a report. And then we did get a generous donation from Plymouth Ambulance. We got 2 AEDs from them. The benefit of that is if they're out on a call and we get called to a cardiac arrest, we have the AEDs, but then they can unplug from ours and hook up directly to theirs. And there's no interchanging of pads or anything like that. They also updated our first inboxes, medical supplies. So I'd like to thank Chief Trajansky and all them down there for that. And I'd like to thank Cass and all you guys for the Explorer. We're going to put that to good use. So.
Thank you, CJ. It's nice to meet you, finally. Thank you. Okay, the next report is our ambulance report. Jason, will you be giving this one?
Yep.
With Public Works, Sewer, and Zoning?
Yes, I will.
Okay, have at it.
I actually got the ambulance this afternoon, so it is in Dropbox, but not in your packet. So for the month of March, they had 20 calls in Lower Frederick, a year-to-date total of 58. In their primary coverage area, which is Perkiomen and Schwenksville, Upper Frederick, and Upper Salford, they did 68 for a year-to-date total of 208. And mutual aid outside their primary coverage area was 26, and a year-to-date total of 95. All right, moving on to Public Works. Public Works Department performed the following: patch potholes throughout the township, cleared roads of trees and debris from storms, performed ditch cleaning on Smith Road and Gerloff Road, received quotes for the dump truck and mini excavator, patch pave Coble Park parking lot, patch pave Old Gravel Pike and prep for chip sealing, installed flexible delineators on Woodside Avenue Bridge, repaired lights inside the office building and parking lot, laid out and prepped storm inlets for saw cutting, and they performed 1 sewer inspection. The sewer engineers report, the 2025 Chapter 94 waste load management report was submitted to DEP in March 24th of 2026. Our inflow and infiltration program, sewer specialty services were on site March 9th and 10th to CCTV the north zone of the township. They submitted that invoice dated March 22nd for our consideration via email. Once they receive payment, which was in this last group of bills, they will provide the footage for our review. The Melbourne subdivision, waiting for warmer weather to apply the Parsons proxy FP Plus to the chimney of all PVC line manholes. And CCTV for Melbourne Hills was received on April 1st. They will be reviewing. And the 6 Little Road, the sewer connection, which is 3 connections, the sanitary sewer main and public laterals have been installed. The 8-inch main air tested and passed. Manholes vacuum tested and passed. The mandrel testing of the 8-inch main will be performed on after April 22nd of this year. That's the sewer report. All right. The zoning report. For the month of March, they received 8 building and 8 zoning permits for a total of 16. They approved 6 building and 7 zoning permits for a total of 13. 8 building permits were completed and 6 zoning permits were completed for a total of 14. We issued 12 burn permits, 3 resale UNOs, 2 driveway permits, 1 home occupation, and 1 road opening, and we have received 6 on-lot pumping reports. That's what I have for the reports.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions on any of these reports?
This is probably Colonial Drive, I believe, is a state road, right? Do you know, there seemed to have been a lot of tree cutting along the roadway. Was that them who performed that? Because it was along most of Colonial, kind of like between the 2 parks and the parks.
That they've been out hacking back stuff.
So-
In air plates, I've seen it on North Limerick Road. I've seen it over off of 100.
I was going to say it would either be PennDOT or PICO.
One or the other.
Pico's
There
been-
is like tree activity.
I know PICO's been, for the last several years, has been actively doing maintenance on the trees and stuff.
Yeah, I guess what seemed different about it is normally PICO or PennDOT they normally pick up the stuff and get rid of it. And there's still giant logs laying along. They got them?
No, they don't always pick up and discard of it. They will just leave them in front of properties.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, historically, I remember them picking them up, so.
They've dumped them in ditches and stuff before sometimes.
Okay, thanks.
Must depend on the crew.
Okay, if there aren't any more questions, we're going to move on to our township boards and commission reports. First up is our EAC. Is anyone here for the EAC? Okay, well, we'll move on to the Open Space Committee.
Did they meet this month?
They did. They did. Okay, there's no one here for the Open Space.
Well, I'm on the open space, but it was a brief meeting. There is a meeting tomorrow, and I think we'll have more, well, you didn't get an agenda yet. There's supposed to be a meeting tomorrow, and hopefully there will be some outcome from that meeting that we'll report it the next month. But
Okay, then we'll move on to Park and Rec.
keep going.
Katie?
Hey, everyone. So we did meet last night. We discussed the upcoming events that we have, and we also talked about some other initiatives that we're working on. We conducted a debrief on our Easter egg hunt. We did have about 100+ kids in attendance, and we determined that we need more eggs next year. Additionally, we did kind of ramp it up this year with a DJ with ATI Live, and then refreshments by Taste of Grace, and then also Engage Art Studios came back for face painting. Upcoming events include the Perkiomen Watershed Cleanup is this Saturday. If you haven't signed up, I believe there are still spots open, so check out their website. April Book Club, it's going to be at Engage Art Studios on April 18th at 10 a.m. We're going to be discussing The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. And then refreshments are going to be provided by Barrister's Bagels in Royersford. We have our first May event on May 9th, and it's called Love Your Mother Earth Day. It's going to start with a bird walk with Phil Whitmer at 8 o'clock at Cuddy Park. And then from 11 to 2, we will be over at Village Center Park. We're going to be showcasing our EAC, our Open Space Committee, Birdtown, and then also our Park Board. There's going to be activities, both environmental and crafts, so it should be a fun event. And then we'll also be collecting single-use plastic bags and then some other items, writing utensils, that type of thing for 2 different recycling drives. So just bring your bags, bring your used highlighters, pens, pencils, colored pencils, and we can get those recycled. And then we have our second event in May, May 30th from 7 to 11. We're going to be hosting an adult prom at Bella Brew. So come ready to dance, come in your prom attire. It's going to be $50 per ticket, and $20 of that is going to go towards township park improvements and upgrades, and how to get your tickets will be released soon. Any questions?
I'm just curious who the Easter Bunny was this year because he or she was very coy.
We did lose our Easter Bunny from before,
Yeah.
and one of our park board members, their friend or neighbor stepped up to volunteer.
Well, they did a great job.
We'll let them know, so.
Thank you, Katie. Okay, next is the Planning Commission.
Yeah, sorry about that. Greg's on. We met on the 19th and we had 3 agenda items. The first one, we got to take a look at the subdivision at 104 Delphi Road. We did have a lengthy conversation, Dan, about the trees, and the desire right now of the applicant is to keep as many trees as possible. We met with the EAC during the meeting to talk about outdoor lighting codes, and that conversation is going to continue in meetings to come with the new developments and the dark sky lighting and a proposed ordinance change that they want. And then we spent a long time talking about the Act 537 special study for Mang Road. And Noel Rainier's written comments are going to be attached to our minutes. So you will see them. And that was the meeting.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Does anybody have any questions for Greg? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to our business for this evening. On our agenda first is our conditional use hearing decision for 225 Big Road, JEP LLC subdivision. Peter?
So part of the board's executive session earlier tonight was on this particular matter. Based on the discussion by the board at this executive session, I'm going to propose the following motion. It is a motion to approve the requested conditional use conditioned upon the applicant applying and obtaining for all the necessary approvals from the Township Zoning Hearing Board, the applicant removing all retaining walls from the plan and ensuring that none be built as part of this project, conditioned upon the applicant obtaining land development approval within 24 months of the issuance of this decision. And lastly, conditioned upon the applicant constructing the project in substantial compliance with the evidence and testimony presented at the hearing.
Okay, is that our motion?
That is the suggested motion, yes.
Okay, that motion will stand unless anyone has anything to add. Not seeing any. Who would like to make that motion?
Also move.
Supervisor Orff makes the motion. Can I get a second?
I will second.
Supervisor Hexter makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the ordinance boundary line public comment. Peter, can you speak to that as well?
Yes. So as it has been mentioned at public meetings several times, the township is considering adopting an ordinance that would shift the boundary line between Lower Frederick Township and Perkiomen Township on the property currently being developed by Artisan. Under state law, the adoption of this ordinance is a two-step process where the first step is we seek public comment on the ordinance, and then the second step, which will be happening at our May regular meeting, which I believe is May 5th. 2 seconds. Yes, May 5th. That's when the board will consider the actual adoption of this ordinance. So at this time, we're just seeking if there's anyone here who wishes to provide any comment on this ordinance. Seeing none, we can move on.
Okay. No comments on that one. Okay. Next up on our agenda is the award for the Babington Road base repair bid. Carol?
Thank you. But of course, we are well below the budget number for road repair, so I think we're in good shape here. I just wanted to give the board that alert. So electronic images of all documents submitted by all 5 of the bidders have been provided to the township. Sachs and Sons Incorporated is very familiar to township officials as they have successfully completed numerous projects for Lower Frederick Township. The bid documents are complete, and I am pleased to recommend the township consider award of the contract to Sachs and Sons as lowest responsible bidder for the project.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
I will abstain from it.
Okay. Jason, do we know if this final figure here, or any of these figures, do they typically account for any contingencies, like a 10, 15% contingency?
So the quantities that I develop, I usually put a 5% fluff factor on.
It's already built into this?
It's already built in,
Okay.
but again, when we looked at the roads, it was before this winter, so
We may have some fluctuation here.
yes, exactly.
Okay. Does that affect anything as far as, does this actually apply like that $100,000 for road work? Like, wouldn't we
Great
be kind
question.
of getting into the prevailing wage arena?
Yes, we are in the prevailing wage arena. Prevailing wage applies to road projects that are over $100,000. We included prevailing wage rates as a contract requirement.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, are there any questions? Okay, not seeing any. The motion this evening is to accept the bid from Sachs and Sons in the amount of $99,224.47 for the Babington Road Base Repair Project, and further authorize the township manager to sign all necessary paperwork to complete the contract. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Supervisor Orff makes the motion. I will make the second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Supervisor Sachs has recused himself, and the motion passes unanimously. My apologies. Motion passes with four votes. Okay. Next on our agenda is, I was wondering if maybe we could move this further down, closer to the other public works request. Okay, well, the one for the trailer kind of goes hand in tandem with the mini excavator. Can we lump those together and move right into the Cuddy Park?
I think that would make sense to move it down there.
Okay. So we're going to skip D, we're going to go right to E for Public Works request, the Cuddy Park Stormwater Project authorization.
Okay, so this was authorized for planning back in 2024. We applied for a PICO Green Region grant that year, which we didn't get. It has been budgeted for the last 2 years, including this year. Its budget is for $4,600 out of the general fund CIP. Our Public Works will be doing the work. They have provided an estimate for materials of $851. We do still need to price out bollards, which can be installed later. So I would like to add $2,000 to the approval to allow for this potential cost based on what I was finding on the internet. Proposing this to be well under what we budgeted for, but looking for a cost not to exceed of $3,000, so that we can purchase the bollards.
So we budgeted 4,600. Why did we budget 4,600?
That part of that price was labor, as we were going for a grant, so it wasn't all straight materials. So we budgeted in case an outside outfit might do it.
Okay, all right, now I understand, okay. So now we're just gonna bite the bullet and have our guys do it?
I have been told it's well within their.
That falls within the scope of your expertise? Okay, got it, thank you. Better late than never, okay, so does anyone have any questions on this? Okay, not seeing any. The motion before us this evening is to authorize Public Works to do Cuddy Park Dog Park Stormwater Project at a cost not to exceed $3,000. That's $851 for the materials, $2,000 for the upcoming bollards.
Bollards and pavement.
And I'm sorry,
Yep.
the bollards, they're going to go on that trail. What does it look like? It's wide enough to drive a truck down that you need the bollards, or?
Yeah, this is the path that comes around.
Right,
that
right.
We have a chain, and we're wanting to put
the
a bollard.
bollards, much better,
So
okay.
there'll be a removable bollard in the middle.
Got it, okay, so, I apologize. Motion is to authorize Public Works to do Cuddy Park Dog Park Stormwater Project at a cost not to exceed $3,000, and further authorize the township manager to sign any paperwork necessary to complete the project. Can I get a motion?
I will make the motion.
Supervisor Jarena makes the motion. Can I get a second?
I will second.
Supervisor Hexter makes the second. All of those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Next is the ratification of sale of the 2003 mower. Jason?
The sale of the 2003 mower was authorized in August of 2024 by the board. We did finally get it listed on Municipid by Public Works and received a high bid of $1,850. We did list that bid with a minimum bid of $500, so we were pleasantly surprised by what we received. I did receive majority consensus to release the mower to the bid winner prior to authorization by the board at a public meeting. This action would memorialize the sale. The funds have been deposited in the general capital fund.
Okay, does anyone have any comments on this? This is pretty straightforward. Okay,
Good price.
Absolutely.
absolutely. Okay, so the motion before us this evening is to ratify the sale of the 2003 mower in the motion of $1,850 to Pete Schramm. Can I get a motion? Do we need a motion? Can I get a motion?
Also move.
Supervisor Hexter makes the motion. Can I get a second?
I will second.
Supervisor Jarena makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. Up next is the administrative request authorization to proceed with Community Day 2026.
Okay, so at the March 24th, 2026 work session, the board was presented with a proposal to establish Lower Frederick's first Community Day to be held on Saturday, September 12th, 2026 at Perkins Valley Middle School West. The event is intended to promote community engagement, highlight township services, and provide family-friendly activities. With the 2026 budget allocation of $7,000 and anticipated revenue of $3,500. I was asked to have do a follow-up item, which was insurance. I did confirm with our insurance carriers that Community Day is covered under the township policy as a special event. Vendors will be required to provide certificates of insurance and list the township as an additional insured. As far as the location coordination, the Perkiomen Valley School District has confirmed use of the middle school west facilities with the understanding that facility use request will be done through their FMX program, and a certificate of insurance and agreement with the school district will be required.
Okay, does anybody have any questions, any comments for Jason on Community Day 2026?
I just wanted to comment, I appreciate all the legwork that I read about that Chief Cass and Jason and the other admin staff did related to this project. That's good teamwork.
And I just want to say, you know, all of our neighbors have community days. It's a great time for people to come out and learn more about different things and see each other and have a good time. A lot of volunteers are needed to have these come off, so pass the word. People just, you know, contribute an hour or two so we can make this a really great day.
Okay, I do have some questions after last week's presentation. Because we were so pressed for time, I didn't really have a chance to go into a deep dive on it. So I do have some questions. I'd like to know, where did the $7,000 figure come from?
This was a figure that I utilized when I was at a former township for their Community Day.
So you're applying the same criteria from that place to this place, and it's $7,000?
Yes.
And if you have that number and it came from the other place, I was kind of hoping maybe we could get a breakdown, a budget breakdown on what is included in that $7,000. Like, what are you using for marketing? What are you using for this? What are you using for this? What are you using for that?
Okay.
And I'm going to also assume that the $3,500 in revenue, how did you come up with that figure?
That would be through sponsorships, vendor. There'll be a vendor fee for, we plan to have like a vendor row, so they'll
Do our vendors have to get permits?
per our ordinance, I believe they do.
Okay.
But it's running through the township's event. We haven't,
So you'd be willing to waive the permit?
we haven't done that before for the township events when vendors have been present.
Okay, all righty. Has anybody thought about maybe a tagline to support the mission statement that you guys would want to do? Like that, like specifically
So-
you know?
So normally what I've done in the past is is you have some kind of, like something maybe on history or
Right.
like this year's obviously the 250 theme. Thank you.
Theme, thank you. Yeah.
So there is usually a theme attached to it
Okay.
of some kind to
I
help
mean,
kind
you
of.
don't have to. I mean, it could just be, generally, it's a community day. Absolutely. Okay. Did you pick a rain date?
For this event and due to the amount of coordination, it's rain or shine.
Rain or shine, okay. So I realize there's going to be a lot of effort put into this. And the other question I have, and I know that you guys went through some effort to work with the school district, I'm just curious why we're moving it from Foy Park. I'm trying to, because I don't really have a real clear idea of the scope of what you want to do. We're just being given generalities at this point, so I need to know, why are we moving it from Foy Park up to the school?
When we had the event 5, 6, 7 years ago, and we had the helicopters, we had the dogs, we had the fire company, we were at Coble Park, and you need a lot of space for that, and you need parking.
I can appreciate that, but could you answer that for me?
So the plan is, if the board blesses this, we're gonna have multiple helicopters.
So you're not just going to have a couple pieces of equipment, you're talking like,
No, so first, looking at what we're envisioning. The middle school, we have plenty of parking, plenty of space on all the fields. Plus, we can set up the vendors, the community organizations, so it's one big flow. that way it takes us off any of the main roads if there's far enough. And with the amount of traffic coming in and out, like the plan is to have 2 or 3 helicopters, all the SWAT stuff, bomb squad, canines, like the whole gamut of displays and activities.
Okay.
Something like a car show. I think the fire company, I've talked to, to do some kind of maybe a vehicle extraction or something. It's a pretty large type of thing that you need space for.
Understood. Okay. That sounds, okay. All right, well, that makes sense. I guess the only other question I have about this is, you've already admitted there's a lot of effort being put into this. You've got 6 months to really kind of go do what you have to do. And you've mentioned that it's not going to interfere with any normal township administration time. So is there a 10% contingency built into this $7,000 as well?
We have what we have to spend. So that would, you ask for a budget along with marketing, it'd be entertainment. So it's not something I would think of building a contingency. If something costs too much, then we won't do it.
So does that 7,000 also from where you came from, does that also account for staff time included in there? That's an unintended cost, staff time.
Staff time, and Chief and I have talked, I'm giving my time to the township. So generally for this type of event, we're volunteering our time.
So it's going to be done after hours or during work hours?
What do you mean? You're talking about like
your
putting stuff
efforts,
together?
Becky's efforts, Public Works efforts. I'm assuming it's going to be done on work time.
There will be some things done in work time, but it's not going to impact our day-to-day activities.
Fair enough. I think I asked you that last week as well, or at the last meeting as well. So I have no argument against a community day. I just want to make sure, because we haven't had one here, and you're kind of basing off of something this is a new wrinkle, and I know that you have experience doing this. So I'm okay with moving forward. I'm okay with where it's going to be. I think the whole idea is fabulous. But I would like to put a couple conditions and some guardrails on this, because we didn't really have a clear scope and understanding of how we were going to move forward. You got 6 months, and I don't see too much that's all built into this. So I'm going to rattle off a couple things. And if anybody has an objection to it, say so. We can modify the motion. That we stick to the allocated budget of $7,000, and it's not to be exceeded without prior approval from the board?
Absolutely.
Okay. Could we potentially get some updates, monthly updates on expenditures in progress?
So we can kind of add this as maybe another staff report.
I mean, you can bake it into the staff report, that'd be fine.
What I'll do is I can add it to the treasurer's report.
Okay. And then, go ahead.
I'm just going to say $7,000 in the greater schemes of things is such a tiny amount of money. Let's just put it in the staff report so we don't have to take up meeting time for it.
No, that's fair enough. I agree with that. Okay. But that we not to exceed unless, you come back to the board.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, fair enough. So I guess our motion this evening,
Can I ask you a question?
certainly.
Just you mentioned, I'm just curious, where's the revenues come from? Not that, normally events like these, the ones I'm familiar with, they weren't run with the intention of getting any revenues, but we're getting some, that's great. Where's it come from?
So much like our park board does,
Right.
Through sponsorships. Once again, for any vendor that's selling some type of product, there'll be like a $20 spot fee. They'll pay for their spot. So that'll be part of the revenue. Not that it'd be a this year thing. I was able to get a grant one year that helped add revenue. It was the only year we were able to actually have carryover money. So but mostly through the sponsorships and like I said, vendors.
And just a follow, sponsorships are great, and I should have thought of that. But are we hitting people, certain sponsors multiple times though because of other events? And do we see that as a problem?
I don't. It's always up to those businesses
Okay.
or individuals to.
I think this is one of those, we're not going to know until we know.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
That's why I'm kind of
Okay.
like, all right, so I'm wondering if maybe even like a post-reconciliation report so that we can have a good idea of what the actual costs were. It'd be great if you came in under $7,000, detailing the breakdown of like the expenditures, the revenue, staff time, that we have something we can work on for next year. Okay, so the motion before us this evening is to, do we have we have a question on Facebook, okay. I mean, Zoom. Greg?
Yeah, I guess you mean me. So I did this in another township, neighboring township, and while it does require staff time, they formed a community day committee that they use every year to do community day, and that way they can keep track of the sponsors, the vendors, everything. I don't know. They have rides, and I know that some income comes because they charge kind of like the carnival does for a bracelet for the kids all day to ride all the rides and stuff. Um, so like there's a big focus on staff time, but I really think it needs to be a volunteer thing. So I would suggest some kind of committee that people join that want to be involved and help put it together. Just thought.
Yeah, no, it's a good thought. It was actually, I remember it being floated out there sometime last year that was kind of going to be involved with the community day, that there was going to be a committee put together. But maybe after we get our feet wet with this one this year, maybe next year it might be a good idea after we have that post-event reconciliation, we can see if a committee is a good idea. But thank you, Greg. I appreciate that idea.
Yeah, and Greg, if you have some specific tips and tricks you want to share with the staff, I'm sure that would be most welcome.
Sure, no problem.
A quick question with respect to this. This may go to our Park and Rec person. My understanding is two of the Park and Rec activities are no longer going to be continued. Is there any expectation that there'll be assistance from the Park and Rec volunteers?
Yeah, that's correct. The trunk or treat, which the police force actually held, was that's not happening, and then Fall Fest isn't happening. And although the park board isn't involved in an official capacity, my guess is we're all going to be willing to help out and volunteer with it. I can't speak for other park board members, but
That's good news, and
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay, no more questions, no more comments. The motion is to authorize proceeding with the planning and execution of Lower Frederick Township's 2026 Community Day. Authorize the township manager to execute any necessary agreements and paperwork related to the event. That the event will be at the allocated budget of $7,000 will not be exceeded without prior approval from the Board of Supervisors. And that a post-event reconciliation report will be provided when the event is over. Can I get a motion?
I will make the motion.
Supervisor Jarena makes the motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
Supervisor Hexter makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda is the DCED Survey of Financial Condition Report 2025. Are you talking to me? Oh, okay. No worries, okay. Okay.
So this is a yearly report filed with DCD. It takes the 3 previous years of financials are reviewed in regards to whether the township had a deficit or surplus in its funds, Ultimately, it's used to gauge if the township is in any type of financial straits. Over the previous 3 years, township has performed, and this is all funds, this includes all funds excluding the escrow fund. In 2023, we had an 8.6% surplus. 2024, 3.1% surplus, and last year, a 3.3% surplus. So there is a note for this year, and that was because we did budget, we do have a deficit budget. That overall, our township is budgeted for a negative $1,199,852 deficit budget. So that is the one note to this report.
Okay. This is from the DCED. Okay.
It's for DCD. It's one of the,
This is for the DCED.
Yeah.
This is just the draft.
yep,
And who completes this? You complete this?
yes.
I realize that. I know that's a yearly requirement. So I'm trying to make sense here of it's a yearly report. The previous 3 years of financials are reviewed in regard to whether the township has a deficit or a surplus in its funds. Ultimately, it's used to gauge if the township is in financial straits. So
Yeah, many of the questions in the report ask whether we've not been able to pay payroll or we've not been able to pay our loans.
that would be an operational deficit then.
Yeah, but it's still, that's why they're trying to gauge if a municipality is having financial hardships.
So the DCED will basically go off of the information that we provided.
Yes.
So, but they do an audit. That's where I'm trying to wrap I'm not
DCD doesn't do
understanding.
the audit.
Sherry Baker did the audit for the DCED and our regular audit. So
That's what our auditor does, is they prepare the DCD audit.
okay.
Two separate things.
So could you pass along the Cherry Baker feedback to the board when you have a chance? And then over the previous 3 years, the township has performed with in 2023, a surplus of 8.6%. And then 2024, a 3.1% surplus. And then in 2025, a 3.3 surplus. This includes all funds excluding, okay, blah, blah, okay. Are approved for so our budget approved for a 22.2% deficit. I'm not an accountant, so I'm having a really hard time actually putting these things together. It doesn't make sense to me, and I apologize. I mean, if somebody can explain this to me, why,
Should
Yeah.
this say for fiscal year 2025? This
Yeah, at the
includes,
top, yep.
it should say 2026?
No, it should be, it's for 2025.
yeah,
so
the audit is for last year.
Oh, okay.
Not for
okay.
the upcoming year.
So then how do you square this is where I'm a bit confused
Filing
as
it in
well.
2026, it's for 2025's.
Oh, no, I mean,
Like
the
taxes.
surplus of 3.3 in 2025 and approved for a 22.2% deficit in 2025.
It asks what, if you have a deficit budget for this year,
For 2025.
for 2026.
Based on 2025.
Yeah, we approved the 2026 and 2025, so
Okay.
I got it.
All right. That paragraph's messing me up.
If I can just say something, so there are some municipalities in Pennsylvania that literally have to go into receivership because they're broke and can't operate. So this is meant to be like a warning to the state that you're going in that direction. We are not going in that direction. So but they still want to know how everybody's doing. So that's what this report is for.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, we've already been operating in a deficit for the last 4 years.
We've been budgeting. It's different,
You're budgeting a deficit every year.
yes. But we've not been spending, so So overall, this, once again, this all funds, open space, liquid fuels, general sewer. So we've not been spending, the surplus means we've been spending less than we've been bringing in.
Okay. When does this have to go to the DCED?
Pretty much like now.
It says, I hereby certify the chief elected official for the above local government has reviewed the information provided in this report and that it is true and accurate to the best of their knowledge. And I guess you would be signing on behalf of, so to the best of my knowledge, I'm still confused, so.
For the record, he did send us the audit.
I'm
The
sorry, what
one
was
that
it?
you requested for him to send to us, he
Yeah.
did send it to us.
Oh, you did? I
Yeah.
apologize. Was it in the Dropbox?
No, I sent that
It was separate, okay. Did anybody else get a look at it? And have any thoughts on it? Seeing as how I missed it?
I mean, again, it's not opinion, it's just based on our actual numbers and what DCD is asking for, and it's true and accurate. We don't have to agree with it, we don't have to like it, but the
True.
numbers are true and accurate.
Because we
So-
are running in a deficit.
So
got
that's
it.
all but the thing is, we're not in financial straits, which is what they want advance notice of, is if we're heading for off the cliff, and we are not. So there's a difference between operating a deficit budget and being in financial straits.
Okay. Well, I guess we can make the motion to accept this. I would like to suggest that in the very, very near future, that we might want to do a performance audit on our finances through our auditor, do a performance to identify certain areas where we could probably be strengthened, and have Jason maybe reach out to Cherry Baker and see if how much it would cost to have that service provided is all I'm going to say on that. Motion is to accept the 2025 DCED report, CLGS-69 survey of financial condition as presented. Can I get a motion?
Also move.
Supervisor Hexter makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Supervisor Gorena makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is resolution proclaiming April 2026 as 811 Safe Digging Month.
I don't know if you want me to go into their mission.
We do this every year. I think everybody knows what it is. Yeah, we're gonna move on this one fast. So the motion is, I move to adopt Resolution 2026 R09 proclaiming April 26th as Pennsylvania 811 Safe Digging Month. I will make the motion. Is there a second? Supervisor Sachs makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Next on our agenda is the resignation of Crystal Gerena from the Park and Rec Board.
So Crystal submitted this through Katie Lewis, the Park and Rec Chair, on March 3rd, 2026, and there is now 3 open positions on the Park and Rec Board. This would be for the term ending 12/31/2029. That's the spot that would open up.
Okay. All right, Crystal, thank you for your service on the Park Board. Much appreciated.
No problem. I enjoyed it.
So we're just looking for a consensus this evening to accept the resignation of Crystal Gerena as of 3/3/2026 for the term ending 12/31 of 2009 from the Park and Rec Board. Everyone in consensus? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Crystal. Next on the agenda is fire police requests from Skipback and Lower Providence Township.
All right, so the Lower Providence Township is for their Montgomery County Heroes Festival to be held on May 16th, 2026. The requested times are from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the request from Skipback Township is for their annual July 4th parade to be held on Saturday, July 4th. And there were
Okay.
no rain dates or anything given.
I'm sorry, what was that last
There
comment?
were no rain dates or anything given for
Okay.
these events.
All right, another easy one. I move to, the motion before us is to authorize the use of Lower Frederick Fire Company Fire Police at the request of Lower Providence Township for the Montgomery County Heroes Festival to be held on May 16th, 2026, and further authorize their use at Skipback Township for the 4th of July Parade to be held on July 4th of 2026. Is there a motion? Terry says, Supervisor Sachs makes the motion. I will make the second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Next on our agenda is the Public Works request, the mini excavator purchasing option discussion. Do that second.
All right. All right. As you may recall, the board authorized rental of a 50P mini excavator at the March 3rd meeting for a period of 3 months from GT&E. At that meeting, Terry requested us to look at renting to own or leasing options. Tommy got quotes from Littles for both options. I did also I reached out to Daryl Peck from Concord Financial for financing options for 5 to 7 years. That's obviously not true. Littles does provide a rent-to-own option on new equipment. Option 1, rent to purchase. The key cost, the monthly rental would be $2,900 for the excavator and $750 for the compactor. 3-month estimated rental of $10,950. 100%.
Okay, could you hold on one second there, Jason, before we do a deep dive on the details and particulars here. I'm curious why we didn't get more than one quote. Co-stars? Okay, so I could go with that explanation, but this is a significant amount of money to be spending. And I think that it would be fiscally irresponsible for us to just go with one quote just because they're with co-stars. I think we deserve to get, requesting 3 quotes is actually best practice to start with. So we're getting the best value. I don't know if anyone feels the same way, but I kind of feel like we should have more than one.
Well, if it's co-stars, we don't need to get 3 quotes, and we only need 3 quotes under certain circumstances. Otherwise, we need 2. And Terry, you were going to say something.
Yeah, the co-stars is what I was going to bring up. You don't have to get 3 bids on a co-stars.
This is an extraordinary amount of money on a piece of
Yeah, but,
equipment.
okay, let me put it this way to you is, so you get 3 other bids and somebody is within $10 cheaper or $20 cheaper and you got to take the lowest bid. It could be further away for them to come fix the machine, pick it up and transport it back and forth. It would cost our people more. So you got to look at that. Little's is right next door. They could walk it across the street.
Point taken.
Okay.
But is this the best equipment for what they want to do?
Yes, it is. It's a good machine. We've already rented them and used them. There's nothing wrong with it, okay? Yeah, you could shop around for different types, but you're back again. You might have to go to King of Prussia or somewhere else to get it repaired or parts or,
And that's an honest assessment when you look at, we have,
and you start weighing all that up and it's.
yeah,
not
you
worth
got
it.
Eagle Power and Equipment, Hoffman Equipment, they're next, and
That's over
got one in
in
Leicester, Ludwig's is over in Glenmore, so.
And the questions I have, again, it's a large sum of money to allocate. And what's the frequency of use? Are we using this machine 4 times a year? A lot can be 2, 20. It's like, it's kind of important to know because we also have the ability to use equipment from our equipment partner. And
For
if
the
we're only
equipment
using
contract,
this
yeah.
5 times, if we're using this 5 times a year, then it begs the question whether or not we're being served better by not allocating 120-some thousand dollars and for something we only use 5 times a year.
If we only use it 5 times a year, I would offer rent. We used that machine that we rented last year. If we had it 90 days, we used it 75.
A lot of stuff that we would be using it for just makes the work that we're doing much more efficient. We get it done quicker. It's much easier to use that on 3/4 of the work that we use it for than the backhoe that we have, especially when we were out, for example, ditch cleaning last month, and we blew a hydraulic line in the middle of a real off-road. That took 6 hours off the job because we had to go back, get it back to the shop, run and get a new hydraulic line for it, and stuff like that. Backhoe's no 3 and rotting out.
Okay.
Pretty bad, so this would take the backhoe off of a lot of the jobs that.
Okay, so basically the excavator, mini excavator, is a superior option to our existing option of a backhoe. And in addition, you're mentioning that our backhoe is nearing the end of its life, is that? Okay, that's a different problem. Okay, all right. The other thing, one of the reasons we pushed one of the reasons I thought it'd be good to push the trailer, which is another 5,000, is it 5,000?
5,500.
5,500. We pushed that to here because the indication on the paperwork was the trailer would be primarily used for moving the backhoe, the mini excavator and compactor.
I see that justification for
Yeah.
the trailer, for sure. You're
Okay.
going to use that for other things.
And you can use it for other things. Okay. So, all right.
But this does beg the question, do you have some place to put it? I think that was our argument before.
That was the other question.
So now you've got room for it. Okay, so this is going to be,
Okay. Yeah, that was, Noel hit my other question on the head is, there was concern in the past that we were leaving the equipment outside, in the elements. And
they have some place to put it.
now you have some place to put it. And where things are being put, it's easy to shift them in and out now. Okay.
Then, of course, we've got the trailer, then there's the mini excavator, which is then probably going to lead us into the truck. We're going to be looking at the truck next then, so.
Let
Right.
me ask you one other question. I know the indication is co-stars and is the number we're getting out of co-stars, is it the belief of the people in this, you guys on Public Works and anybody else who has knowledge in this field, that the number of $115,000, is that probably a good number from the standpoint of, plus or, well, if we went out and got 2 other quotes, they would wind up 10% plus or minus of that number.
And because it's through CarStars, they might be willing to negotiate to get our business.
Well, if it's a state contract, any gun dealer we go to is going to be the same price for the machine.
Well, that's John Deere. I understand that, right.
But when it breaks, parts are cost.
Right. No, yeah, that's definitely a plus. Right. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for doing all the legwork and figuring this. Yeah. We have to do our due diligence and ask all the questions and so, but
If this was just $25,000, I'd be like, not a big deal, but all told, soup to nuts with all the bells and whistles, what does it come out to be? We don't have an amortization schedule, so excuse me, I couldn't really tell.
about 100 and quarter probably.
Yeah, so purchased finance, rent to purchase.
Just curious, if, with this equipment, would you be using these on the Cuddy Park Stormwater Project? Okay, just wanted to make sure. I figured that's why I kind of packed them together, because if you're asking for these for one project, now you're being told you're going to be doing this project, it would be very beneficial at this point. Okay,
For the record, I'm not questioning if you're going to use it. I know you're going to use it. I'm questioning a significant cost that we're not looking at or doing our due diligence to look at other options. I'm more than willing to move forward with it, but I'm going to put it on the record that I'm not happy that we didn't get more data to work with. That's all I'm going to say to that. Does anyone have any other questions before Jason wants to continue with the presentation of the financial information that we do have?
I just have a comment. You guys know I've been following Public Works since at least 2017, and there've been a lot of kicking the can down the road before even 2017, probably 2015, 2010. There's been a lot of kicking, and so you guys have some really old, decrepit equipment, and it's really expensive to replace it. We all are aware of that. But on the other hand, you need it, you use it, and it's unfortunate that, this wasn't done years ago, but it wasn't. And that's just where we are. It just is. And the township's not getting smaller, it's getting bigger. So I'm confident you're going to use it. I think financing is a way to go. That's why we have the capital improvement plan. Anyway, that's where I'm coming from, and I'm hoping eventually, just like we did with the police vehicles, we'll catch up and get on a good schedule and, be able to plan for this stuff in the future. I think we're getting close, I hope.
So did we, just to refresh my memory, did we budget for a mini excavator this year? Because I'd like to know if this monthly, the way this financing is working out here. I mean, it's a monthly of $2184.78. I know that's what if we purchased it. I don't see what the payments would be if we did the rent to purchase, because what we rent it for goes towards the purchase price. I don't have that. And is this, let's put it this way, if we were to purchase it, the total purchase price isn't really that far off from what we do the rent to purchase minus the rental. It's $25,540 a year. We can handle $25,000 over how many years?
Little's was 5.
It was
5.
5 for 5 years? Okay. And this isn't going to affect our pending deficit, is it? Or is this part of our pending deficit?
Well, what would have been budgeted was to buy it outright. So this would help that.
Oh, so we did budget for it if we were purchasing outright?
I believe, actually, it was budgeted, is it this year or 27?
Oh, so we're moving it up, okay.
We had it on, and I think we pushed it to 27, actually, in the capital.
Do you know how much, for how much?
Been on the budget for the last few years, but I believe last year got taken off.
Okay. And that got pushed
So
out to
I pushed it out to
2027?
27.
Outright purchase, right.
I'm guessing it would have been 110. I'm sorry, I don't
It's okay.
have the number off, but it would have been over 100,000.
Maybe I'm being a little overcautious, I'm just,
I'm in favor of financing it. takes the
I'm in,
pressure off our
I'm in favor
budget.
of financing, period.
Yeah.
I just wish we weren't doing it now. I wish we had more time to like include it for next year, but
Well, we've been talking about this for a year.
Yeah, I think with the amount of projects that we have going on, this is something that we can't keep pushing back. It has to get done.
Would you see
Okey-doke.
this, I was just going to ask, could you see this being used for the Coble Park project as well?
I think they're going
Oh,
to use
you
it for
asked
just
about
about
Nova?
everything at this
You asked
point,
about
aren't
Cuddy.
you? Yeah.
I'm asking about the back of, yeah.
Let's put
Okay.
it this way, we threw $10,000
Yeah.
away last year, we're gonna throw $10,000 away this year. That's
I get that point. I get that point too. I do understand that. I do understand that.
They got something in Coble.
All right, Jason, do you want to continue on with the financing for this, please? Thank you.
Okay. So the rent to purchase, the monthly rental would, for the excavator, be $2,900, the compactor $750, $10,950 for the 3-month estimated rental. 100% of that gets applied towards the purchase. The total present value listed is $115,087. What we would get would be to try the equipment before committing, rental payments credited towards purchase, no large upfront obligation. Rent is used as a down payment to vehicle. If we purchased through financing, the total purchase price would be $114,236, which would include an excavator and attachments, plate compactor, setup and extended warranty. The financing terms of 60 months. If we did the monthly option, would be $2,184 a month, or if we did the annual option, it'd be $25,540.50. Total finance would be the $114,236. What we would get, full ownership after 5 years, warranty coverage for 5 years or 2,000 hours, all attachments included up front. If we did the monthly cost option, that would be $131,086.80. If we did the yearly option, that'd be $127,702.50. And as far as what Concord provided us for that purchase price, a 5-year term, roughly the same annual debt service of $25,869, total interest of $15,110. I believe the littles might be a little more interest. Concord, he gave me base. We don't have a bank quote for that, so we would still have to secure that. But he just gave me base, kind of based on 5%, 5-year and 7-year, to give the board more options, looking at kind of ballpark figures if we were to finance. Because we could spread this out to 7 years if we wanted to.
I'd probably stay with the 5-year because it's Littles, it's a known entity. We have to do some of our own legwork to get the 7 years, if I'm not mistaken, and it deducts an additional 6 or 7K from, if I understand the dollars here correctly.
So Jason, are you purchasing this, or are you gonna rent to purchase?
That's up to the board.
Well, to purchase it, it's cheaper.
Yeah, I would recommend, if we're going to
Well,
purchase
that's-
it, we
yeah.
should just purchase it and finance.
Okay. Finance it, yes. That's what I said to you before. You gotta look at these leases or the rental purchase, it's a lease. sometimes the leases, it's not worth buying. It's more, doing it that way. It costs more money. They get you on that lease deal. And then you got to go the other route and you just finance.
But I know this was the equipment we used last year. I know the guys like this piece of equipment. So the rental part, they tried it last year.
Because within all the years we've been doing it, it's been, the lease, way back, lease was good. Now, our first 2 Takahachis we got was an unbelievable lease for 5 years. One was $800 a month, the other was $900 a month. We could not go wrong on that. We just got 2 cats in right now, and those leases for 3 years is like over $2,000 a month each. That's the difference in a lease now compared to 5 years ago. So the leases it's not worth doing them. Just finance.
Are we ready, or we're still kind of, I'm ready.
Okay, I don't see any motion on here, Jason.
What we're going to do, though, what we're going to motion to do is do the purchase, right? The finance to purchase
For 5 years.
for 5 years through Littles.
Yep, I'm in agreement.
Okay. Make a motion. Can I try to make a motion? If
Go knock
Peter,
yourself
if I
out.
do it
Right
wrong,
ahead.
Peter can correct me. So I make a motion to move forward with the rent to purchase through Littles of
Sorry,
the.
rent
No, we're
to-
doing,
no.
we're not doing
No,
rent to
no, we're going
purchase.
to.
Option 2.
Purchase.
Option 2, okay, purchase, yeah, okay, finance to purchase, i.e. option 2, of the mini excavator and compactor from Littles for 5 years. That's my motion. With price, I don't need to tell you the price, do I?
I will second that.
Yeah.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's deal with that trailer. So I've been following along with this. You guys had an opportunity to get a trailer from Upper Frederick, Upper Salford. It's a deal. $5,500. It's practically brand new. Yeah. So, does anybody have any questions about said trailer? Nope.
Sorry, so that'll also be kept in the same place, inside?
No, that's an outside thing.
That's an outside thing?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
This trailer will be replacing the current larger trailer that we have that won't be able to either move the mini excavator or even 2 pieces of equipment that we currently have. We have to move.
Oh, is that going to go on Unibid to sell? Okay, great. Okay. All right, so the motion before us this evening is to authorize the purchase of the 2018 PJ trailer from Upper Salford Township in the amount of $5,500 and further authorize the township manager to sign any paperwork to complete the project. I will make that motion. Is there a second? Supervisor Sachs makes the second. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. Okay. Oh, so we've decided that going forward, the village mixed use and the data center uses discussions, ordinance discussions will remain on our agendas until we complete them. That doesn't mean we're going to have full-blown discussions every single meeting, but I think it's a good idea to keep it on here so we can keep it moving forward. So the first one here is the village mixed use. I don't know if I necessarily want to have a full-blown discussion, but I think maybe you had some things you wanted to speak to. So go ahead.
Yes, so if you all remember, and some of you in this room were on this committee, we had a comprehensive plan that came out in 2022, February 2022. And one of the sections in here is about village character. And we had a set of, sorry, I'm shuffling pages here. We had a set of recommendations at the end about implementation strategies. So one of them was Village Streetscape Plan, create a vision for major streets within and surrounding the villages of Zieglerville and Springmount. Create gateways at intersections, adopt pedestrian connections, and a bunch of other things. Visual and descriptive examples of desired development types and building design details. That's what you're interested in, Dan. That's recommendation 21C. And this is the full document is on our website if anyone's interested. This is at the end, et cetera, et cetera. Historic preservation and reuse. So this already says some of the things we want to accomplish. I'm just speaking for myself. Anyone wants to agree with me, they're welcome to agree with me. But I think whatever happens at the area delineated as the village mixed-use area, which is around the circle, should be walkable, should be people-friendly, bike-friendly, stroller and dog-friendly. Not that we want to discourage cars, but off of the roads, we want to have a kind of a village look. And that, in my opinion, again, just my opinion, that does not mean single-family homes on quarter acre. I think there are other places in the township for that. I think we should have denser, smaller housing units, maybe some apartments on top of stores. And I don't know how to do this. Maybe Carol has some ideas, but we need to have a kind of a village look so that it doesn't look like a strip mall. That is some way to have the residential areas and the commercial areas work together in a symbiotic way. I don't know what that would look like. You may be able to elaborate on that. But this is my vision. I think this is part of the vision we have in here. We've talked about design standards, how we want it to actually look on the outside. My opinion is the design standard should be a separate document so it can change, so it's not static. For example, if you have a store, there are ways to make it look less like a big box store and more like you're strolling along a village street kind of store, even if it's the same store. So that's the design standards. Anyone else want to comment? I think we have some work to do, but I also think we should stipulate what we're looking for, and if it's not anything not on that list, it's not allowed. I don't think we should have drive-throughs unless it's a bank. And I think if we have a grocery store, which we have lost the grocery store, the Landis in Perkiomen Township, I think we have a need for one. It doesn't need to be a big one. But if people are going to stop and spend money, let them stop in Lower Frederick and spend money instead of somewhere else, so we can get the tax dollars.
Right. Some of that's a reiteration of some of last week, but just to back you up on this comp plan, the comp plan contains a roadmap from the residents of Lower Frederick Township that voted for everybody on this board about what they want in that village mixed-use area. And that's what we should be using as our blueprint. It's not necessarily our opinions if we follow that, because that's the residents' opinion.
Yeah, and other things are to be included. For example, parking should not be on the street view, parking should be behind. So when people are walking from store to store, it feels like you're in a small town, again, not in a strip mall. And the feeling for that means that the board needs to have some design standards on looks. Doesn't mean stores will be prohibited, but it should look consistent with our vision for the village.
So I think maybe our homework for the board would be to go and look at the comp plan again, go through some of the information that we just received over the next couple days, including Montgomery County's traditional documentation that was sent, and then we can put this on our workshop to have a more elongated conversation about this.
Yeah, and a recommendation I would make is, having listened to our planning commission discuss village mixed use for quite a while, as well as the previous board before I came on the board, what may be a suggestion is if we were to draw up something that we could share with John Miklos so that he could look at it. And if each one of us, because, we want to talk about this in public, but it'd be much easier if John could take something from each of us, if we're interested in providing it to him, so that he could amalgamate it into a common vision for the board.
I think that's a great idea, but let's just remember to refer back to our comp plan and
Yeah.
and the wishes and the desires of the residents.
Well, the village mixed-use zoning ordinance as it's currently constructed, as well as the comp plan, are not, shall we say, they're not descriptive enough in order to provide what we probably want, because it can be taken advantage of
Right.
by a developer to put in something we're
Well,
not looking for.
that's how we started, was
Yeah.
drive a truck through our ordinance.
Yeah, exactly.
But our
So,
comp plan gives a directive to actually address those things.
yeah, and I think between John, we can share them with John, and we can share them, our individual ideas with Peter. So Peter can make sure that it's something, whatever we write would be enforceable, and John can give us something, because I base most of my write-up that I provided to John and to Peter based upon information that was on the Montgomery County website for village mixed use, along with information about successful villages, quote unquote, Pennsylvania villages. And there are certain specific characteristics that are earmarks of successful villages in Pennsylvania. So I'm just throwing that out as a suggestion, rather than us coming here and having a free-wheeling discussion, all of us at the same time.
Okay, point taken. We'll make sure that info gets to John Miklos so that when we have our work session, we'll actually have something put together that we can discuss. Does that sound good?
As long as other people are
Okay,
interested in providing
does anyone have an
stuff too.
objection? Is everyone good with that?
I just want to add one thing, and for me, I'm still having trouble visualizing it. If we have development that has housing, residential housing and commercial, are there some areas in Pennsylvania that do that well? I don't know, but if anybody knows of any, please send them forward, let us know, because if someone's already done a good job at that, where people can walk out of their door and walk down a walking path and go to a restaurant or go and get their hair cut, and they don't hear the noise and the traffic from those areas, I think that would be a good model for us to follow, rather than trying to figure it out. And, pardon?
Ask John.
Yeah, we can ask John. And do you know of any, Carol?
Some of the models I've seen have been in transit-oriented districts where they're close to, train stations and.
They have public
major-
transportation.
Public transportation, yeah.
That's not to say that it can't be done. It's just a different way of doing it.
Yeah, you could look
Yeah.
at something like Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, and there's about 5 others that I don't remember off the top of my head, which were pretty reasonable examples of villages that are representative of Pennsylvania.
We actually do have some establishments up and down Gravel Pike that actually have that element to them, where there's a business on the bottom floor and there's rentals above. So it's not too far outside the scope of possibility. Okay, so I think we're firm on that. We're going to get some info to John Miklos using our comp plan as a guidance, and then we'll have something to discuss at our next work session, correct?
And just so John knows, this is in addition to what feedback we already gave him at
Yeah,
our last
exactly,
meeting,
from
not
the last
to
meeting.
replace it. It's in
Exactly.
addition.
Right. Okay, next on our agenda this evening is the data centers and data center use discussion. I don't think we need to have another blown-out conversation about this, because we need to actually have something to look at. So Peter, I would love for you to send us some of the ordinance that your office has already done and worked up for other townships so that
So
we can look
I've
at it.
just finished last night.
Okay.
An ordinance for another one of my clients. And so I will forward that on to you. And if you want, I can also forward you, samples I looked at in preparing that ordinance.
That would be perfect, so that I can see where you got to the conclusion. We can look at it, and then we can kick the tires on it at the next meeting. No reason to start from scratch. Okay.
I'd like to make a request. Maybe this is just for me. I don't know if others agree, but if you have one you think is pretty all-inclusive, it's easier just to focus on one and maybe say, I'll add one
Well,
sentence.
Obviously, focus on the one I prepared.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, obviously, it's the one I think is the best and the most
Because
appropriate.
it's easier just to have one to focus on.
And so, that's going to be the one that's in Word. But if you want, I'll send you a bunch of other PDFs that you can at least see
Where it came from.
or, how they approached it differently.
That's helpful to me. Yes.
So,
But the one you want us to focus on is the one you just completed.
yeah,
Okay.
and that will be the only one that's in Word.
Okay.
Okay?
And I just have a couple comments. Again, these are just for me, but I've been hearing a lot about data centers recently, and all of you in the room probably saw your electric bills gone up about 17%, and PECO wants to raise it another 12% next year. And I think a lot of this is so we can pay for those data centers' use of electricity. I may be wrong, but that's what I think. How can we get them to foot the bill for this instead of us footing the bill and them making all the money?
That's the
That's
state.
above our pay grade. Really, I mean, if you.
Well, that's what's happening.
If you looked at the letter that was prepared in the packet, she talked about how Virginia and Ohio have adopted, regulations to address that. Those regulations were adopted on a state level, I think actually by their version of the PUC. For the most part, really, it's up to the state either passing, a state law or the PUC passing regulations to create those. As far as we're concerned, the best thing we can do is put pressure on our state representatives to, try to enforce that sort of thing. The ordinance that I will provide you does have requirements in there trying to, ensure that the data center facilities are producing as much electricity as they can on site, that they're minimizing their water usage, which is another huge impact of them. So we can do it, somewhat that way for things specifically in our township, but that's not going to, be honest, that's not going to impact, the electricity cost increases. That can only be dealt with on a state level.
Peter, do you deal with one of the things that the state letter called out pretty clearly is the impact of the fact that the water temperature, they may be releasing the same amount of water they use back into, but they're releasing it at a higher temperature, and it's having some deleterious effects downstream from wherever they're extracting the water. Do you make any is there any kind of statements about that in there? I mean.
So one, once again, that's a DEP issue, and that's handled through DEP, through the issuance of NPDES permits. As far as my sample, my draft ordinance, we have a requirement that they use closed-loop cooling systems. So they're not going to be releasing, just running water through their system and releasing it out. That they're going to have to use a closed-loop system that is going to use a lot less water and hopefully will not have those impacts, or at least less impacts than someone just literally pumping water through their coolant system and then releasing it on the other end.
I think it's going to
Thank
be
you.
helpful to actually get our eyeballs on it, and then we can kick it around, have the conversation. Terrific.
So the one thing, just, you'll look at this when you get it. So one, it was prepared for Bedminster Township in Bucks County. Their zoning ordinances in Bucks County, the zoning ordinances are organized differently. They're set up that they have a series of actual uses that they all name in one section, and then under each zoning ordinance, they'll then say, hey, these are the uses that are allowed. So that's why you'll see it kind of organized that way. The other thing I did is in preparing this ordinance, people, they've attached a whole bunch of conditions that they want data centers to adhere to. A lot of those conditions, to be honest, would apply to almost any industrial use. So I actually broke them out and applied them to every industrial use. Because one, I just don't think it's fair to pick on one particular use that now is on the hot seat. If DuPont moves next door to you and decides to put up a huge chemical factory, you're going to have the same issues that you would as a giant data center.
I'm not a fan of them either, but at the same time, that kind of
Yes.
opens you up for,
Well, and that's the
Yeah.
other thing is, singling out data centers for all these regulations
right.
gives them, an argument to say, hey, you're picking on us, so you'll see that. You'll also see a section for what's called battery storage systems, which Bedminster actually has had some developers sniffing around. So that's why we're also you'll see that also. That's also something you guys might want to consider. And then last but not least, one thing you really can consider if you really are worried about this is, we can, or you can, actually adopt a municipal cure. You can, announce that your ordinance, you feel your ordinance is, not constitutional in the fact that you do not provide for these particular uses. By adopting a municipal cure, that would give you 6 months to adopt this ordinance. During those 6 months, no developer could come in and file their own curative amendment or file a substantive challenge with the zoning hearing board alleging, hey, your ordinance is unconstitutional because you do not specifically zone for this particular use.
Is 6 months the maximum, or?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the maximum.
You
So
couldn't
you
do a year,
basically, you're
6
protected,
months.
you're protected for 6 months, and you have to, during those 6 months, you have to be actively putting together an ordinance that would cure this invalidity.
Okay. Okay. Great information. Thank you.
Sorry, and can we also stipulate where in the township it ought to go? Like, I'm assuming we're not going to want it in the village center, we're not going to want it. I mean, this is going to,
You're going to want to put it
Right.
in your industrial district.
and we can stipulate that.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Specifically, tell
That's-
them where they
that's-
can put it.
That's why
Yeah.
you want to enact this ordinance, because if you don't enact it and someone comes in and says you don't zone for this anywhere in the township, and they prove that, they can put it wherever they want.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Okay, does anyone have any other questions, some comments?
Sorry, I have one more. Is there also information here about decommissioning?
Yes,
And-
there's a
and having
whole,
like a very
there's a
big
whole
escrow?
provision on decommissioning, financial requirements.
Good,
There's a whole
okay.
provision on well guarantees. And once again, those things apply across the board, because the decommissioning I apply to any industrial use that's going to be 100,000 square feet or bigger. And same with the well. Although, actually, unlike Bedminster, you guys already have a well guarantee in place. So that's,
We did that with the omnibus,
you
didn't we?
did that with the other one.
Yeah.
But this kind of beefs it up a little bit more.
You got it? Okay, thank you. All right, not seeing any more questions or comments. We are now into our public comment section of our meeting. Do we have any, Katie?
Yeah. First of all, Crystal, thank you for your service to the park board. And then second of all, thank you guys for approving the Cuddy Park stormwater tonight. So,
Thank you. Warren?
Warren Jacobs, Fulmer Road. I think it's great that we're addressing this issue of data centers, regardless of the likelihood of it happening here soon. It's good to be prepared for when it does. Sometime back, just a couple years ago, we were having a similar discussion when solar was the end thing. And it got talked about a lot, but I don't think we ever did anything about it. Is it maybe time to do the same thing, be prepared for when when somebody wants to,
Yes.
a developer
It looks like
wants
we're
to
going to move
propose
pretty
something?
swiftly on the AI because we're not working from the ground up. We have something, we can move on to solar after that.
I'll give you
While we're at it,
Bedminster's
yeah.
utility scale solar ordinance also.
Perfect. We kind of kill two birds with one stone. Thank you for bringing that up, Warren. Thank you. Yes, sir. Could you get up and just state your name and address?
So I'm aware of the new procedure here. Terry Brady, I've been blessed living at 23 Zieglerville Road for almost 50 years. And I've been here before it was all complicated. But that said, mine is easy. I want to thank you folks, the board and the chief, especially the chief and his people, his men and women, who finally have a police presence on Zieglerville Road. It's taking effect, and as a grandparent and a parent, only before I played the state police, and they finally put someone down years ago, and they started nailing people a long time ago, before the townhouses came in. But that said, the speed boys with their hot Subarus and their Hondas that zoom down our hill, and the increasing flow of traffic from Harleysville to Points Beyond and back and forth, morning and night. They have learned that this gentleman's men and women are down there at the bottom of the hill, and it's working. My God, is it working. Finally, I'm seeing lights break in front of our house. We live on a bad curve, as Terry knows. And they come around. Now, as a grandparent and a former parent, you have no idea how comforting it is to see those brake lights because they know that someone's going to be there. So I just want to thank you. Very easy for you folks. I like to do a procedure. I thought maybe I'd have to swear. I wouldn't.
No. Thank you very much, sir. That's greatly appreciated. Good job, guys. Very good job.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? All right, not seeing any. Is there any supervisor comment?
I just want to repeat what I said earlier. Volunteers make this township run. We have some events coming up. You know, if you or your neighbors, grab one of your friends out, come work for an hour. That's how we have these terrific events. I know I see people all the time at events. They say, I didn't know we had this. I saw some at the Easter egg hunt. I didn't know we had an Easter egg hunt. And, we always need volunteers. I know a lot of you in this room are already volunteers, but if you have other people who can pitch in, that's what we need here. And the more the merrier. So thanks to everyone.
Yeah, echo what Marla said. We can definitely use volunteers for all our committees, and we're very happy to have the ones we have on the committees presently. And I just wanted to follow up on something that's perpetually in the back of my mind, the status of the removal of the guardrail associated with the gravel pike bridge, the old gravel pike bridge.
I've reached out to Mr. King twice, so I'm waiting on his follow-up.
Okay, fine, thank you. I just didn't see it in any of the reports, so I just wanted to double check. Okay, that's good to hear. Thank you.
Jason, has anybody complained about the speed bump on 29 up there at South Station Road? Where the gas company put it?
Not that I'm aware of. It's not, although a lot of times admins last to know stuff, so.
It's like a real speed bump, or are you just being facetious?
You come down 29 and hit it.
Yeah.
All right, I wasn't sure if it was like
No,
on 29.
Terry is quite right. I mean, it's interesting if you're going north on 29 it's not even there. But coming south on 29, it's a pronounced,
Is it effective?
it's not a speed bump. It's
Okay. I got you.
yeah.
Trent Trust.
No, and, yeah.
Really?
So hopefully Carol's on top of it and is going to make the state pay attention
Yeah, I'm
right
sure.
away.
Okay.
So that is on a PennDOT road. It's PennDOT inspected. That's the temporary patch paving. They will have to come back and do a
And fix
permanent
it,
patch.
right.
Yeah.
So
Thanks,
the
Carol.
accidental speed bump will eventually
Yeah,
go
so
away.
it won't be there forever, but it will be
Okay.
there for a little while until PennDOT and the contractor.
All right. Are there any more comments? If not, this meeting is adjourned.